how's it going, guys? My name is JD Clayton, and this is my buddy Jacob McCoy. And we just drove up the other day from Bella Vista. I live in Nashville right now, so we drove down the day before, and we've been kind of hanging out in Northwest Arkansas. And then made the trip up this morning to Kansas City to hang out, do this workshop, and we're playing a show tonight here at the Ship. I think it starts at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to play a couple songs for you guys, and then talk a little bit about how I come up with these songs. So here we go. This is a song called American Millionaire. I wrote it when I was realizing that how hard it was to cover rent and all the things that are hard to cover when you're low on funds. And so this just kind of flowed out.
Monday morning around 6 a.m. I'm sweeping in grounds at the coffee can. Up all night, probably late. I'm working my way to be one of the greats. I'm never gonna stop till I get there, 'cause I'm gonna be an American millionaire. I really wanna make my parents proud. Really hope these people like the sound of my guitar strings coming out of the speakers. Gotta show them all I ain't just a dreamer. My sweet Lord, have you heard my prayer? Won't you make me an American millionaire? Well, I'm on the road today, just trying to make this life they say wouldn't come true. Come true. And I'll be back at home someday, and we'll be laughing about the way things used to be. Just you wait and see. Well, for now I guess it's all up in the air. Oh, I'll be an American millionaire. Still got learning to do for sure. I walked into a few closed doors. Where I come from, you hear the people say there ain't no gain without no pain. But I know what to do when I get there, and I'm an American millionaire. Yeah, I'm on the road today, just trying to make this life they say wouldn't come true. Come true. And I'll be back at home someday, and we'll be laughing about the way things used to be. Just you wait and see. Yeah, for now I guess it's all up in the air. I know I'll be an American millionaire. Oh, for now I guess it's all up in the air, but I know I'll be an American millionaire.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's about the struggles of trying to make it, and that's what we're here to do this weekend, to make it. So thank you for hanging out with us.
$20 at a time.
That's right. That's right. And okay, we'll do another one. This is a song called Beauty Queen. A lot of these songs that I'm playing for you today are songs that I've written in the last 2 years while living in Nashville. I've just finished tracking a full-length record, and a lot of these songs are from that album. Hoping that it's going to come out next year, but still working on all that. So, yeah. So this is a song called Beauty Queen.
Darling, you're smart. Yeah, and you're the only girl who's ever set my heart free. My beautiful. You're that sweet summer breeze in the heat of mid-July. You always got me wanting more, like Nana's chocolate pie. You lighten up my world like a field of fireflies. Yeah, you're the only girl who's ever set my heart free. My beauty queen. Oh, well, I used to want to be a wandering man, the last rolling stone in a one-man band. But now I get my boots off, leave them at your door, because you're home to me. Your easy morning hello, a candy kiss goodnight, my last on the sunsets, and the first thing on my mind. Someday I'll ask God how he thought of your design. 'Cause you're the only girl who's ever set my heart free. My beauty queen. Oh, I used to want to be a wandering man, the last rolling stone in a one-man band. But now I get my boots off, leave them at your door, 'cause you're home to me. Your flower that never withers, silver that always shines, a steady little river that cuts through the county line, a place for me to hang my hat, keep there until I die. And you're the only girl who's ever set my heart free. My beauty queen.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so for a second, I'm gonna just like talk about some things I was thinking on the drive over here, to kind of explain my process for how I write songs. So I narrowed it down to like 5, and Jacob, I want you to add some things too as we go through here, but I narrowed it down to like 5 things that I think makes a song good. I think you have to have rhyme. It's a good starter. You have to have flow. And when I say flow, that's kind of like the way that words land in sentences within a verse. You have to have story. Everybody loves a good story, and it doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to make sense, but some kind of theme or story that flows within the song. And then you have to have the ability to recognize the cheese factor, and that is when you're writing a song and you're sitting down at the kitchen table trying to write songs and you can't get through a verse and you start just kind of scribbling down ideas. You have to have the ability to know when something is cheesy or if it's a good idea. So that's like your spidey sense. You got to be able to know when it's a cheesy idea, and then you gotta know when someone you gotta be able to tell the truth. And like I said, you can tell. It doesn't have to be a true story. The song, people need to be able to hear the song and know that you mean what you're saying. And so that's like that I think kind of wraps everything together for me for my songwriting process. How about you? What do you got to add to that?
I mean, all of those things I think are pretty true for me. I think for me, most of my ideas personally kind of come out of interesting things I come up with on guitar or piano, and I think some people start with lyrics first. So I mean, the thing with songwriting is there's no right or wrong way to do anything. It's just about what kind of inspires you. So I think sitting down, finding an instrument that sounds inspiring, and honestly, I think most of my songs come from mistakes, which I think those are really fun, like rabbit holes to chase. Find something that just sounds kind of interesting, a little off, but then you kind of chase it and find something cool. Yeah, I think story is the biggest thing, and I would even say like it's really easy to write a song for yourself, but I think the magic comes when you can write a song where other people find themselves in that story. So it doesn't have to be a true story, but I think I have to catch myself sometimes when I want to write about a certain subject that maybe I don't know a lot about, whereas maybe I should focus on the things that I know a lot of, things that have happened in my own life, and I can kind of put my own spin on. I think people are going to be able to they're going to be able to see the truth in that, and it's going to hit them in a way that maybe something that is, and I think Johnny Cash is somebody that did that so well. He's such an incredible storyteller, and the reason is, not just because of his voice or his band, but it's just because you could kind of see the humanity in his songwriting and in those songs, and that's why it's so easy to go back to even now. And then I think just strong melody, something that is singable, something that will kind of get into somebody's brain and is easy to sing along to. I think of guys like Tom Petty that you can just instantly recognize those songs, and they're not super complicated, but that's what makes them great. Is he always hit them with a good first line, something that kind of catches your attention, and then that melody is just something that's going to stick with you. And I think that's what separates a lot of the really great songwriters, and what JD and I kind of strive for. Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome.
And then as a joke, kind of we were traveling in the van this morning, and it's not the most ideal situation, and there's just got some crushed cans laying around, coffee cups, banana peels, and so I just started looking around at my feet, and I was like, how can I explain how to write a song by just writing a song? So I came up with this, and this is going to be pretty rough. I'm learning it on the spot, but the words are here. Let's see. So this is a made-up song here. Just by looking around you at the things that are right in front of your face.
Two lanes, coffee stains, heading for a town that don't know my name. Crushed aluminum, banana peels, saying grace at my Waffle House meal. Yeah, life is pretty nice out on the road. Yeah, life can be kind of nice out on the road.
So I mean, that's just whatever. It's thank you very much. That's just you can do that anywhere, but we could write a song right now just by looking at the things around us and the people we're with. I think that nice. I think no, it's all good. Love the tone. Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
That's true. Light. A dear friend of mine, Sandra McCracken, she's in the Americana Christian world, but she just released a book called "Send Out Your Light," and she talks a lot about how light in our lives plays a big role as far as inspiration. So when we go to record my songs in the studio, the producer has an app on his phone that controls every light bulb, and we just change every single one, or we'll set like the tone to like a really deep yellow or something, and kind of get into the vibe.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. We'll play another one. This is a song I wrote that's going to be on the new record coming out next year. It's called "Different Kind of Simple Life," and basically, just wanted to highlight what small town USA feels like to me, and what I think it looks like on an everyday basis. So this is called Different Kind of Simple Life.
Daddy is a working man, building houses out of 2x4s. You live along across the bridge. Your mama is a quiet girl, taking calls at the salvage yard. She brings home happy meals for the kids. It's just a different kind of simple life, growing up in the black and white, and never really knowing what is right from wrong. You're burning through your gasoline in this tiny town, run by all those good old boys. They're just dancing around in their blue Levi's. You best leave them all the hell alone. Wind down that sore up road and make your own way to freedom. 'Cause no one's gonna pull your boots up for you and fly both your arms out wide through that sweet by and by. Oh, and don't look back, 'cause we'll all be here when you get home. Bet you wish you had all day long to strum a guitar and sing sad songs, but now you got a family of your own. Come by the bar and say hello. We're raising hell and shots of Patron. Boy, you're sure gonna miss these days. It's just a different kind of simple life, growing up in the black and white, and never really knowing what is right from wrong. You're burning through your gasoline in this tiny town, run by all those good old boys. They're just dancing around in their blue Levi's. You best leave them all the hell alone. Wind down that sore up road and make your own way to freedom. 'Cause no one's gonna pull your boots up for you and fly both your arms out wide through that sweet by and by. Oh, don't you look back, 'cause we'll all be here when you get home. You get home.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, do we have any questions? Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
great.
Bring it on.
What formal or informal education have you had that has helped your songwriting? Are you classically trained?
Playing by ear.
Totally.
I took a couple months of piano lessons from a guy at church, and the rest of it came from YouTube videos. So
That's our generation's.
yeah, my grandfather was a banjo player in a bluegrass band, and so when I was growing up, sitting in the living room after dinner, he'd pull out the banjo, and I just wanted to play along with him. So I kind of started to pick up the acoustic, and that just really started a love for music. And yeah, it kind of spiraled from there. So
How about you?
Trying to think. Yeah, so I never had any like formal training. I did kind of similar to JD. I had like a few months of guitar lessons. I did play cello for a few years whenever I was a kid. So I can't at this point can't read music and don't know much about theory. So I think it's been fun like learning, kind of picking out things by ear. I think if I were to go back, I would love to have more of a formal training. But I think I've always had a great love for music and great songwriting specifically, and I think there's something fun about just sitting down and like figuring out something. And I mean I think it's very like, it was invaluable for me to have kind of a guitar teacher teach me certain skills to start off with. But yeah, I think I really believe anybody can do it. You know, if you kind of sit down and take the time to learn something and just have fun and I don't know.
Do you collaborate together? Is collaboration something that's important to you? If you had a dream collaboration, who would it be?
That is a good question. Well, we're kind of beginning that process. Jacob and I used the same producer in Nashville, and the producer kind of connected us, and so we got drinks and hung out, but we haven't really sat down and written together. He's playing bass in my band tonight at our show, so we've definitely gotten to play music together, but as far as like creating new art and new songs, we haven't quite gotten into that yet.
Is songwriting more a solitary exercise for you? Would you be open to more collaborations?
It's an interesting question because I think JD lives in Nashville, and my wife and I just moved from Nashville, and that is like a big thing is like co-writing, especially in the country music world. And speaking for myself, I've had a hard time with that actually.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah, and I think the hard thing for me at least is I only feel comfortable with people that I'm around that I know or trust, and I think whenever you're working on an idea and throwing out lyrics, like there's a lot of vulnerability there, and I think because a lot of Nashville is such a factory, it feels very, I don't know, it's hard for me to like write something that feels really true to myself when it's with other people. Now I think it would be different with like a guy like JD that I know and I'm friends with and we've played together. That makes me feel comfortable, and like I'm not going to sound like an idiot if I come up with a certain idea, but I think I've really struggled with kind of going into a random room with a random person and trying to
Songwriting by appointment.
Yeah,
9
exactly,
to 5 kind of thing.
Yeah, every song on the record we're putting out next year, except for one, I just wrote by myself at home at the kitchen table. I enjoy getting to really go through the process of coming up with an idea and fleshing it out. Sometimes I don't finish a song for months, and if I can't figure it out, I'll put it away, and then it'll just be an idea, and I might steal lyrics out of a song and put them in another one. I've done that a ton of times. Like while we're recording the final vocal on a song in a studio, I didn't like the lyric and would pull something else. So I don't know. I enjoy the process.
Yeah, you kind of alluded to this in your comments before. Is being on the road conducive to songwriting? Do you have to be at home or at some other environment to be able to really, really get into the songwriting? I would think being in a van, looking at the cans on the floor, would not be the most friendly environment for songwriting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've written several songs, like the title track of the record that's coming out next year. I wrote during the pandemic. I had gotten let go from my job and started working for a landscape company, and we were doing irrigation at this this house, and we were on lunch break, and all the guys were napping, and so I just sat on the porch steps and wrote the whole song on my phone with no guitar, and then just figured it out when I got home. And it's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. But I kind of think being on the road and seeing new things, meeting. I believe that songwriting is all about the stories and the people that we encounter in our life, and then that's just fleshed out when you sit down to write a song. And so being on the road for me is it's kind of like new material. I think it's really smart to keep a book or a note folder on your phone of just one-liners. Yeah, and every time somebody says something that I'm just like, man, that is genius, I just immediately write it down. And if you don't write it down right away, you will forget. That's the worst thing. Waking up in the morning was like, man, what did that guy say at that bar at 3 a.m.? I cannot remember. So anyway.
Can't find the napkin that you wrote in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have one more question
Yeah.
for you. Have you been mentored by anyone in your musical career? And also, have you mentored someone else? Would you be open to doing that?
There's a guy that I know by the name of Bo. So y'all probably don't know him, but nice guy, pretty funny in the living room. Nice to be around. Good to share barbecue with from time to time. But no, Bo, our very own Bo Bledsoe here, was my mentor during the Artist 360 program that really kind of kickstarted my music career, if you will. I didn't have any music out online. I had like one song, but it was terrible. And I went to Nashville and recorded an EP and didn't really have the funding for that. And the Artist 360 program was able to help me with that. And during the whole process, we did a retreat, and Bo and I just kind of hit it off. And ever since then, we've kind of hung out. And he came to Nashville, and I've been to Kansas City once. This is my second time. But yeah, so I think it's if you can find someone who's willing to go to bat for you and take time to encourage you, or if you're headed down the wrong path, kind of help you navigate, because it's really easy to go on the wrong path in the music industry. So
I have one guy, but embarrassingly, I can't think of his name because I haven't seen him in a couple of years, so he's not a very good mentor, obviously. There's definitely been a few people whenever I first moved to Nashville that, I think, especially in a town like that, or any town for that matter, I think it's just so invaluable to have somebody that has kind of some seasoned experience and wisdom to share, because the music industry is just, it's a really fickle thing, and it's really easy to give up on yourself and on your songs, because I think we're in a time when music's just kind of, it goes so quickly and people lose interest really quickly, and there's so much of it that there's just a lot of stuff to break through. So I think having somebody that can kind of keep you grounded, and it's just such a wonderful opportunity to. The few times that I've had like really good co-writes have been with his name's Dave. That's all I can tell you.
Dave the mentor.
Dave the mentor. Yes.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he answers only to that. But yeah, like the few times that I did have really good co-writes were with him, because he's written a couple of #1 songs, and he's just done it for a long time.
Oh, that Dave.
Huh?
Oh,
that Dave. Yeah, you know that guy. But just gleaning any bit of like process from him and seeing how he approaches it, and stepping away from, I tend to approach it pretty artistically, but what I was talking about earlier about really trying to allow other people to find their story in your song or in your story, that was like something that I just never really thought about. I was just kind of writing about like anything that like was relevant to me, which at the time was just girls and moving to Nashville and pursuing my dream, just those typical things. But yeah, I think moving forward, like I hope to be that mentor towards people, because I think it's just such a wonderful tradition to pass down with music, and I think we've certainly benefited from those people in our lives, and even people that we haven't met yet, just like the songwriters that we look up to. You know, like for me, like John Prine and Bob Dylan and those kind of guys are huge for me. And though I've never met them and never will, you know, it's just getting to be a fly on the wall and spectate on how they craft a song and trying to like wean those little bits of goodies for myself. I think that's what mentoring is really. So
Thank you for being open to answering those.
Absolutely. Does anybody else have a question? Okay. All right. I think we may play one more song, and then we're gonna be hanging around. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask us. Let's do Goldmine. This is a song called Goldmine, and I was kind of trying to figure out a song that I could write for my wife, and this kind of just fell out. So there we go.
I never was good at talking to women. I probably was a little too shy. Guess I kind of figured it would happen on its own, but my years, they rolled on by till I couldn't wait another day for her to come along. So I went searching high in the hills for the treasure that I could hold at night. But every time I thought I was closer, I'd get lost somewhere in my mind. And oh, honey, I guess that I looked for you in all the wrong places. Don't call me a blind man, 'cause your love I couldn't see. But you rescued me, pointed me in your direction. Oh, darling, when you opened my eyes, I saw you, the gold mine. Well, I don't know why things happen like they do, but I remember having nothing before I had you. It's a hard place to be, and a sure way to die. Well, life's been pretty sweet since I found the gold mine. Yeah, I went searching high in the hills for a treasure that I could hold at night. But every time I thought I was closer, I'd get lost somewhere in my mind. And oh, honey, I guess that I looked for you in all the wrong places. You call me a blind man, 'cause your love I couldn't see. But you rescued me and pointed me in your direction. Oh, darling, and when you opened my eyes, I saw you. Oh, mine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I didn't want to jump in right before you started the song.
Oh, no worries.
That was beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
We got one online here too.
Okay, cool.
Do you think about space when you're writing? like using silence and
Yeah.
and how much you're spacing things out and leaving breathing room between concepts?
You can go first, Pete.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like the one of the number one things I think about, because I think it's always it was a tendency for me whenever I was younger to fill all that space with, you know, if I was playing guitar, with a lot of notes or whatever. But I think space is the thing that, like, you know, gives a song the chance to breathe, allows the listener to have an opportunity to think about what that last line was, or just to kind of sink into the music. And I think that's like all, you know, for the most part, all of my favorite artists are ones that create that beautiful space, whether it's through the orchestration in their songs or the structure of how they write the song. I think that's like a huge thing. It's just allowing those like little moments to where you're consciously like taking a, you know, and I think that kind of comes back to like a bigger point of songwriting, is just like, I think the good songwriters aren't the ones that know exactly, are the ones that add the best, like are always adding things, but I think it's more about like taking away, learning to take away, and strip a song down to its core that can still translate that story to other people, but you remove all the unnecessary things. And I think that really plays into that idea of creating that space and that, you know, I don't know, I think if a song can stand with one person playing on an acoustic guitar or somebody on a piano, like, that is a great song, because all the production, all that stuff are tools that can enhance a song and can help elevate that space. But, you know, I think it just really comes down to writing a song that facilitates, or like kind of creates the structure to enable that. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes, that's
Okay.
great.
I think for me, it's when I was first starting to write songs, I always tried to fill the gaps with words like and the and just like I just did. Yeah, I'm always like trying to. It feels uncomfortable to leave space for some reason when you're writing songs, and so the tendency is to just try to come up with these small words that I think too. Southern sayings tend to have a lot of extra ad-libby things, and you just kind of have to force yourself to breathe. And sometimes it helps me to just write the song entirely on paper and make sure that it would read exactly like I would talk to someone, instead of, you know, just trying to fill space just because. So I think that Casey Musgraves and her team with Ian Fitchick and Daniel Tashian, I think that they may be the best in the game at creating songs that have space and using the space. A lot of Casey Musgraves songs, there will just be this right in between, you know, right after a chorus happens, there will just be this huge space where she just says like the word "yeah" one time, and you know, the instruments kind of move the thing. So it really is kind of up to you. You can do whatever you want. What do you got for us, Bo?
Okay, this is from Danielle Anderson.
All right, hi Danielle. Thanks for
All right.
watching.
I didn't bring my reading glasses. Let's see here. I'll submit mine. Let's see. Okay, as a self-taught musician who uses or plays by ear, what helps you come up with new musical ideas when you get stuck with what you know? How do you not keep using the same chord songs over and over again?
That is a great question. It is very tricky. I think for a guitar player, a capo is nice.
Yeah.
I write a lot in the key of E, and it's easy for me to kind of come up with what my melodies are going to be. I listen to a lot of music, and I mean a lot of music, and I'm constantly trying to digest new material, and I think by doing that, it's allowed me to, you know, whether it's jazz or bluegrass, it's allowed me to, when I sit down to write a song, kind of pull from these new influences, and I think that's kind of what's helped me. It is very tricky. That's a great question.
I think for me, I actually write a lot of my songs in open tunings, and that for me has been like a really fun wormhole to crawl down, because it's I think it's really easy when you're just playing your guitar in the normal standard tuning to go back to your, whatever you're comfortable with, the G, C, D, or for JD like E. I think those are really good, and I think it's nice to go back to those. But for me, I needed to kind of break out of those pockets, so I would I play a lot in like open D tuning, which is basically just a D chord, and you tune all the strings to sound like that. So you hit the guitar, and it just has this nice, beautiful ringing sound. But then you can just play around with it, and I think like for me, that's kind of where those like making mistakes come in, of forcing myself out of those kind of uncomfortable, or out of those like normal, comfortable positions that I find myself in, and getting out of that. And just, you'll always kind of find something different and interesting. And for me, that's how I've found a lot of my favorite songs, and just really unique melodies. And then I think on top of that, just listening to a lot of different music. I think there's so much good music being created right now, and I think it's really invaluable to go and listen to jazz, go and jump a couple decades back, and it seems like there's been like a resurgence in 80s style music, which is I didn't care about for a long time, but it's really cool. And jumping over to hip hop and R&B, and I just think there's like a lot of really interesting ideas to be found, like through listening to things that are outside of your world. Because if I just sat down and listened only to Americana or folk music, then I think I'm not gonna learn as much as maybe as if I kind of sat down and listened to something that's just a little bit out of my comfort zone, and listen to how other artists, how they approach their songwriting, and I think that's like a really great way to get out of your box.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think unless we have another question.
Yes, Sally V wants to know what books or poetry that you're reading right now.
What books or poetry? I am reading a biography about Teddy Roosevelt, and it is pretty much rocking my world. I did not know a lot of things about him, and it has, it's been a huge influence in the last month, just going through this book. His life was just nothing but adventure, so that's kind of given me some fuel for not just songwriting, but just in life, like to really wake up and, seize the day, if you will, grab the bull by the horns and get after it, as they say in Texas.
Yeah.
Are you from around there, those parts?
Yeah.
Nice.
Around there.
Okay, well, I just want to say a huge thank you to Bo Bledsoe and the Ship for hosting today, and also the Heartland Songwriting Network for being so gracious to let us speak a little bit about what we love to do. I hope that we can do this again sometime. And tonight we play here at the Ship at 8 p.m. Me and my band, and we're going to be playing some of the songs that we played here today, but they sound a little different with drums on them. So hope that you guys can be here to join us, and sayonara.